Oh crap! That's the first time I ever done that.
I was like, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong?
Nah, you didn't do nothing wrong with me. I'm probably haunted, as they say.
Yeah, just say it was a ghost. It was a ghost.
Yeah, we'll just go for that, okay? The interesting is, why do they call it the bloody side of it then? Because you said there's a lot of brutal blood in this falls.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about Leap Castle. So Leap Castle was home to the Carroll clan. They were a fierce clan in Ireland at the time. In the Bloody Chapel itself, this clan invited another clan and they murdered all the clansmen. So they murdered about 32 people and they died in the Bloody Chapel during a banquet. They were poisoned. And in the early 1900s, there's an oubliette in Leap Castle, which is just, it means it's French for to be forgotten. And they would have thrown people down there, and you can still see the spikes to this day. And in the early 1900s, they found cartloads of bones in the oubliette. There's also said to be the spirit of an elemental in Leap Castle that is said to be looked like a decaying human body when witnessed. There was a woman from the 1800s that lived in Leap Castle, Mildred Darby, and she wrote about her experience living there, and that's where most of the ghost stories came from, her experiences with the elemental and the clansmen. There was also a murder in the clansmen were crazy. So there was a murder in the Bloody Chapel. One of the clans member, Tig, was a priest, and he was stabbed during mass by his brother over a rivalry to become leader of the clan, and he was killed in the Bloody Chapel. And he is the spirit that we communicate with a lot in the Bloody Chapel and throughout Leap Castle. So a lot of amazing things come true in the spirit box. He's quite an aggressive spirit. He's not the nicest spirit to deal with, but we try our best to communicate with him.
So if I come up there and we go to that castle, do you think I might get brutally attacked?
Leap Castle has an effect on everyone. I'm pretty sure everyone that goes to Leap Castle, they'll always say they feel something. Some nights, of course, paranormal activity is incredibly rare. I'm not saying it's like you see a ghost the minute you walk in. A lot of people have it in their mind if they go ghost hunting, they're going to see a ghost. It doesn't work like that. Sadly, you sit in the dark just talking to the air a lot of the times. But in Leap Castle, a lot of people they do like. There's a lot of fear surrounding it. There's also if you ever take anything from Leap, you're supposed to have incredibly bad luck. So there's letters on the wall of the Great Hall, and there's little rocks and stuff that people have sent back to the owner of the castle because they've had terrible bad luck for taking it and things like that. It's a very mysterious place, a lot of Irish mythology and stuff surrounding it as well. It was supposed to be built on Druid land as well. So a lot of crazy stuff in Leap Castle.
Wow, I think I already sold myself. But that it sounds really crazy. And it sounds like a very interesting location to definitely go to have an experience. Now, talking about your equipment, you mentioned about your spirit box. So you had him on an spirit box, did you?
Yes, yeah. So like I'm quite simplified when it comes to equipment. On my own YouTube channel, being a solo investigator, I kind of just use myself as the equipment. But then of course I introduce a spirit box, and then like I do some EVP. But I'm more looking for on my channel audibles, actual things that can't be explained away with technology. So like some of the times I think we're kind of looking in the dark for things with spirit boxes and things like that because it can't be 100% proven. So I'm always looking for the next thing where it's like you actually see something. That's my main mission, is to actually just prove it and to prove it to myself. And I don't want to prove it through equipment. I want to prove it with myself and a camera, and that's it. It's just simple. That's the whole idea about my YouTube channel. It was just one guy wandering around all these cool locations and hopefully capturing something on camera.
Okay, so it's really about catching an actual evidence as a not a full hemorrhage, but like a full happening to you. Wow, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. Kyle, you're really got a good guy on this one, bro. This guy is a class.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. I started following him on Instagram sometime back, and I had to have him on the show. And when he came on, it's like we could just sit here and listen to him tell the history. I don't even need a ghost hunt. Just tell me the history, and I'm content. So, yeah.
I'm a nerd when it comes to history.
I'm the same. I'm the same.
I have to know everything. And see, in my videos, I have to write a script for my videos when I'm explaining the history to people. So it kind of just drills into my head over time with all the editing I do and the history part in my video. And I just I like knowing my own history. I like knowing where I came from. I love knowing the Irish history. And it wasn't until I started the whole paranormal thing. A lot of people think I'm just in it for the ghosts. It's not really. It's more appreciation of the history of the country and what we've been through and where I came from. And I love that side of it. I think that's fascinating, the whole history. And of course, the ghosts. I love the paranormal. I love ghosts. But history for me, I bore a lot of people when they come on investigations. I'm like, did you know this? And did you know, I can't stop myself.
It's nothing to be boring about, dude. I had a lot of paranormal teams working with me, and the decision was like I'd learn the history of spirit because I'm a spiritualist. History is one of the biggest important thing about to the spirit world, and especially to the anomalies of the spirit world. Now, this is going to be interesting. Do you believe you're an empath or a psychic or some abilities? Because the way you explained it earlier, as you have some happenings, even if you say you want to believe, you still have that situation.
The whole reason I kind of started the thing as well is I grew up in a haunted house, and as a child, I would see things that others couldn't see, and I think as I got older, I kind of got jaded, and as you grow up, you kind of lose your abilities a lot. So I had to kind of train myself more. And in the last, since I've been going and opening myself up more, I am sensing things. I do card readings and things like that, but I'm in no way a medium. I don't see ghosts. I don't see dead people, but I can pick up on emotions and senses and things like that. So I suppose you'd call it an empath. I just kind of, I get in tune with the location. I don't really, I'm not in any way I'm sensitive, I guess. Yeah, I'd say I'm sensitive.
The biggest question you must get asked a lot being Irish is, and I know this sounds so cheeky, but is it true about the leprechauns? Because a lot of people wants to ask that question, and I'm answering for the public as well here. So
Yeah, of course. So a leprechaun to us is basically a fairy. So a leprechaun's an Irish fairy, and we believe in fairies a lot. So there is things in Ireland like fairy trees and fairy forts, and even our government won't build motorways through them or over them. Everyone avoids them because we believe the fairies they're tricksters and they can cause a lot of trouble for us. But a leprechaun is basically a fairy, and that's the way we look at it. But a lot of people see it as a little green drunk man, little garden gnome kind of thing. But I'm not going to say leprechauns are real, but there was a story a few years back where a priest actually found the body of a leprechaun and his skeleton, and we don't know if it's a hoax or not, but of course our media ran with it, and they found his little green suit and things like that. But to us, it's just mythology. It's part of our, like there would be Greek gods, their mythology, things like that. That's part of it. But a lot of Americans do ask me the question, so have you seen a leprechaun? And no, I have not seen a leprechaun, nor have I got a pot of gold, because I wouldn't be here now if I did. I'd be off on some island somewhere.
that was straight up. Well done, man. Well done. Straight up, I like that. If you had a pot of gold, I would say let's go half us, but that's
I will. To look at the Irish.
Okay, so let's get back on track, shall we? It's absolutely amazing chatting about you. Very intelligent and knowing wise to actually understand this sort of stuff, and it's really important for an investigator to understand the history, the knowledge of how spirit could work. Another subject, if you're okay with it, is about the Ouija board. Do you think it's a mind game, or do you think it's an happening?
Right. Well, a Ouija board, a lot of people in Ireland are very superstitious about the Ouija board. I was always told growing up, and you'd hear stories, and I suppose that's true for every country, that, don't touch the Ouija board. I was thrown up against a wall, dramatic things happened. I was possessed by a demon. But I think if you have a fragile mind going into a Ouija board session, you're going to be affected. I've used a Ouija board countless times, but then the team I'm part of, they wouldn't go near a Ouija board. So I respect that. And if locations ask me not to use a Ouija board, I don't. But me personally, I do use it. And I don't know. It's hard to say if it's me moving it, if it's somebody else around the table subconsciously moving it. To me, that's not evidence. To me, it's a board that it's a game. It's a game, basically. That's the way I look at it. Definitely.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely. I can. There's a few things I know about the Ouija board, but that's really interesting. In fact, I've done like so many experiments with it, but we're not here about that. Now, this is the big words I'm going to use, okay? And you've been to so many haunted locations. Where's the one place in the earth you would like to go and investigate?
Oh, wow. There's so many. Um, oh, I would love. I know it might sound a bit bizarre, but I would love to investigate a royal palace. I know you'd never get access, but I would love to investigate Queen Elizabeth's palace, Buckingham Palace. I was in London not too long ago, and I would just love to have that power to walk around at night and investigate the ghosts. It would never happen, but I would just love to know if the Queen sees ghosts for some bizarre reason. I just want to know. I just want to know.
It's that question that we all want to know. Has Her Majesty of England see ghosts? Well, who knows? But no, you're not the only one. It's loads of people wants to get in there. And sadly, they won't do it because of the protection she's got.
Yeah.
So I would join you on a ghost hunt with that for definite. But who knows? Who knows? It could happen. It could happen.
Oh, you never know. I'd love to do the Edinburgh Vault. That's one place I would love to do. I'm trying to think. In America, I'd like to do the sanatorium, Waverly Hills, I think it's called. And I would love to do. What's the name of that house? It's some woman. The Winchester Mystery, right? Or the Mystery House, is that what's called? Winchester House?
Winchester House, yeah, that's
Yeah, about the Indians with the guns and the rifle, and she built this whole house for the spirits, and she built all these different rooms on the house. I'd love to investigate that, and hopefully, if my channel does get bigger and bigger, I'd be able to go to these locations, and I would absolutely be beside myself, definitely.
You know what? I'll be jealous. I'll be coming along with you because that's the place.
Drew, now you know me. You're going to be there the whole time.
Oh yeah.
I'll be trying to get to Ireland now after this pandemic. You're coming.
Actually, no, Drew. I am coming to Ireland. I gotta go to Texas for a holiday though, because my good mate and his wife let me come up and investigate in Texas as well. We're gonna do a lot of things. Eat a Whataburger, as we say together. Whataburger is quite big.
Yes, America, I'd love to go and I go to America and order fast food because it just looks awesome. And in Ireland, and the European rules and all that stuff, in America, you don't have all that where your food, it has to be perfect here. When America, they pump them full of stuff. It's just crazy. I just want to try it all.
You could get a sponsor somewhere else that line and do fast food eating. I forgot what's it called, but I remember a show when I was a kid. A guy he used to. Can you remember what it's called? Coyote. Can you remember what it was called? Well, that guy eats a lot of food, and he was on TV. Man Food's His Food. do that, man, you probably get like a lot of offers to go away to a holidays, and then you can do your ghost hunts at the same time. Then
Yeah, exactly.
that's what I would have done. Let's go back onto the ghost hunts, though. So with Ireland, it's a mistell. I had a book here of from a friend from Northern Ireland, and it tells me about the witches in Ireland. Do you want to explain about the witches and what you think of that side of the line as well? Because it'd be nice to actually hear your point aside.
Well, I suppose witchcraft is kind of in every household in Ireland, with medicines and our old wives' tales. That's really where it comes from. But it would kind of date back to the Druids in Ireland, and there's a lot of like altars and stuff around from then. And myself personally, I've never really met a witch in Ireland, but there is a lot of witchcraft in Ireland. I know on TikTok there's a lot of Irish witches that do their spells and stuff like that. But I don't know. To me, it's just wise women or men who study a religion. You know, to me, it's not this big thing. But we wouldn't call them witches per se. It'd be more like, you know, they're Wiccans or they're wise women of years ago. Especially like I'm sure my mother would have done some witchy stuff to cure me as a child, but she just didn't know it. She wouldn't be like, "Oh, I'm a witch, I'm doing this." It would just be kind of normal to us, I suppose. All these weird things us Irish do.
Well, no, it's not everything is only Irish weird stuff you do. One of the biggest places as well was, and Coyote would agree with me, America's one of the biggest
Yeah.
weird places as well, because they got a fabulous different mix of spiritual culture, witching,
And
and non-beliefs as well. Like the UK as well, they got the same section. But Ireland is very interesting because Ireland is like the best story of the line of it all as well. Like, you know, all countries, but Ireland's got that lovely scenery, that belief, that spiritual belief of it. And that's what I think you know you're into massively, and that's what you believe into.
I'm very lucky to be in Ireland and have all these kind of on my doorstep, have castles close by and all these ruins, because Ireland's quite a small country, so there's hundreds and hundreds of castles, so we can go visit them, and I'm very lucky. And a lot of my American followers, which most of my followers are American, they always say, "Oh, Ireland's so old, like our country is so young, and we wish we had this and we wish we had that." But I'm in Ireland, and I'm like, I wish I could go to America and go to all these cool locations. So but I am very lucky, and it wasn't until Paranormal Resident began, just this idea that popped into my head, that I realized how lucky I was to have all these things on my doorstep, because I literally grew up with same with you in Wales, of course. You would have grown up with these ruins everywhere, these castle ruins, and played in them as a child. And I remember I grew up in a house that was from the 1700s, and I just thought it was normal. You know, I didn't think it was a thing. And we just always talked about ghosts. It's just part of our culture. Like we were always taught as children, don't sit beside a fire after midnight because that's the time for the ghosts to come and gather. So we used to be terrified to go out of our bedrooms after midnight because we were afraid to see ghosts beside the fire just having a chat and a cup of tea. But it's just
That
part of
must have been scary.
just a little bit. But I think at the beginning of Paranormal Resident, I was very fearful of what I was doing because I didn't know what I was doing. And when you're kind of starting off in the paranormal world, you're expecting all these things to happen. And I always say to people when they're starting off, do not expect to see anything or experience anything for a while, because paranormal evidence is quite rare. Real evidence is rare. And I used to be screaming in these castles in my early video. I still scream, by the way. I still get scared. But at the beginning, I was just panicking all the time. And now I just kind of settled more. And now it's more kind of chasing it. And the excitement of getting some evidence is what I love.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Okay, so I know Ireland has a history of like slavery and things like that, and one of the worst cultures to experience that kind of thing, you
Mm.
know. do you all have places there that may be haunted by these slaves, or I mean, what is there any places that are like really history filled?
Yeah, well, see, Ireland has a long kind of history of being oppressed and Irish treated less than because of the British Empire. We we were slaves, but I wouldn't say we would have been the same as the slaves in America. We would have had contracts, but we would have been treated kind of like dogs' bodies at some stage. We were kind of there's no like location I can really think of because we were kind of shipped abroad. So there's no like location where I know of slaves being, but we were kind of put on coffin ships and things like that and shipped abroad and used as slavery. But along the Irish people always have had this thing with England where a lot of people still think we're part of England. And as a Republic of Ireland, like we fought for our freedom in the early 1920s. We had civil war over this. And the English used the Irish as they just didn't like us. They thought of us as barbaric and they thought of us as less than and stupid. So we had a long history of fighting with England. We had the famine as well. So we like during the time Britain was in control of Ireland during the famine, and we were literally starved by the British people because they wanted us to die out and they wanted the English to occupy our land. So you know, we're fine with England now, obviously, and we're not fighting anymore. But it took us a long time. We were oppressed for over 800 years. They raped our lands. They took everything from us. Um, Most of Ireland has nearly no forests because they literally took away all our forests to sell our wood because they just didn't care about us. There were slaughters. Of course, there was Cromwell. A lot of the castles around here, like a lot of the stately homes and stuff as well in Ireland, would be English, and a lot of the castles and stuff would be English as well. And they kind of took away our history and tried to like stamp out our language and stuff like that. Um, but now it's all good. We're free. Well, the Republic is free, and we have a good relationship so far with England. Definitely. But slavery, I'm not like I wouldn't be crazy on the subject. I don't really know too much about it, so I don't want to go into it too much in case I offend anyone. But I do know there was Irish slaves, and we were treated very poorly. But I wouldn't compare it exactly to America and the slave issues in America. I think it would have been a little bit different.
Well, actually, here in the United States, Irish were treated less than any other slaves. So yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot, like we were treated very poorly, like, and but see, I think the numbers make a difference. Like there wouldn't have been as many Irish slaves as there would have been African American slaves. So I think I don't know. I haven't really done much research into it. I have heard during all the troubles in America at the moment that people are bringing up the fact that Irish were slaves as well. But I wouldn't know too much about it. I know a lot about the fight for our freedom and being oppressed for 800 years. But I do have to look into that big time. Definitely.
So what do you have like coming up soon?
Right. Well, I have loads coming up. I have Lep Castle. I have 2 dates booked in October with my team, Paranormal Adventures Ireland. We'll be there the night before Halloween, the 30th of October and the 24th of October. There's tickets still available for 24th of October if people want to come along and check out my Paranormal Adventures Ireland Facebook page. And you can contact me as well, Paranormal Resident. We have loads of locations planned. We kind of some weekends we just get into the car, or I'll just do it myself as well for my channel, and we just travel around and look for abandoned cool places, or put into Google Maps castles near me and see if we can get access to them, and I film my YouTube video. We recently were in Oranmore Castle in Galway, which was an amazing night. We had a lot of fun that night, and it was a very creepy place, but not much activity. But then again, we can't expect activity all the time. But yeah, we have a good few locations, but we're looking forward to Lep at Halloween especially because since the pandemic, we haven't been able to do an awful lot. So we can now gather in groups, I think, of, I'm not sure if it's like 10 or 50, I'm not even sure, but I know we keep our groups very small because we want people to experience things. We're not just, we don't have like this tour thing. With the way we treat our group is kind of like Paranormal Resident is separate from Paranormal Adventures Ireland. And Paranormal Resident is my baby, it's my YouTube channel. But when we do our team thing and we invite members of the public, and with Paranormal Adventures Ireland, we keep our things small and we just think of it as a group of friends going ghost hunting. We don't want this tour atmosphere. We want people to actually experience the castle, experience the hauntings, and be able to explore themselves without us pointing the finger and say, sit down, listen to us, this is how you do it. That's what we love about it.
Quick question is, now we're going to talk about this all tour stuff, which is pretty cool. I'll probably come along in October. I'll probably jump on a boat and say, hey, let's go to it. The bit I'm going to ask you is, have you had any body scrams or scratches or reactions, like out of knowing when you've done an investigation? Does it cause you to have a lot of symptoms, or it's a physical body of the mind, how it works, but then have to challenge it two sideways?
Yeah, well, I've had an experience where I've woke up, where I've had someone, like a spirit, a supposed spirit, follow me home and scratch me during the night, and I would wake up with scratches on my neck. And I know people will say, oh, you did it yourself during the night, but that was a one-time thing. I've never done it before in my life, and I don't have any nails. So I've had that experience with things following me home. I've been poked in Oranmore Castle the other week. A team member and me were sitting on a bed. Amy, hi Amy, she's watching, and I was poked in the side, and it was one of them experiences where, do you know when people say, oh, I got touched or I got scratched? Sometimes I find it hard to believe it. I just think people were looking for a bit of attention or whatever like that, but this was so definite, it actually hurt me, and I could feel the finger. Like, it was just a bizarre feeling. But I know of people who have got scratched and things like that, but myself personally, it only happened to me once when I came home. It was from the Hellfire Club in Dublin. The night I came home from that, and I was told after that by a medium that a little boy actually followed me home. But I don't know what he'd be doing scratching me, but he did anyway.
Wow. That must have been
It was an experience. I love, like, as most of the time I'm asking for it, and people always say to me I'm asking for too much, but I want these things to happen to me. Some people are like, oh my god, if a spirit scratched me, I'd lose my life, I'd be so upset and things like that. But I'm like, give me more proof, tell me more, show me more. I just need to know. I think the whole idea of why people are interested in the paranormal and ghost hunting is, we just want to know if there's an afterlife. We want to know if when we die, is it just the end? Is that it? So, like, we don't want to believe there's just darkness after this. We want to believe there is ghosts. We want to believe there's an afterlife, there's a heaven. At the moment, like, I do believe there is something there we can't explain, but I just don't think it's what we think it is. I think it's all energy. It's not just the white lady in the haunted castle crying throughout the night. I don't think that makes sense. To me, it's all energy, things that are left behind. And maybe, I think when there is a haunting or spirits, I honestly believe they're afraid to cross over because they've done something in their life and they don't want to be judged. And that's why you get a haunted location. Usually it's somebody who knows, maybe they're like super religious and they committed a sin and they just don't want to cross over, and they get stuck, I suppose. I go off on a tangent, sorry.
that tangent's okay, bro. It's pretty good. Trust me, it's a lot of people like to hear this sort of stuff. Even I do, and wow, it's It's wow. My mind is blown, Coyote. Whoa, he's got me speechless. No one's never got me speechless, and that's got me speechless. So can I be a bit asking this question as well? Is how old are you?
I am 30 next month.
You're 30 next month, and you literally got a good mind of an investigator, and you know what you're talking about by the sound of it, for definite.
I hope I know what I'm talking about. I never like I never go into it thinking I know it all or anything like that, because I just think you're very stupid if you go into this. Like, I've been with investigators before in the past who would literally have like give me lectures about the paranormal, and I was like, you don't know, nobody knows, nobody has the answers. I'm sorry, like, there's no book on the paranormal. There's plenty of books on the paranormal, sorry, but like, nobody knows. If we knew, we wouldn't be investigating. It wouldn't be called a paranormal investigation. It's not, it's a mystery, nobody knows. So like, I don't like profess that I know everything about the paranormal, but I know for a fact I love what I do. I feel like it's what I'm meant to do. Even though I have a small YouTube channel, it's a small thing at the moment. I know myself. I'm meant to be there. It's meant to be. I'm meant to show people the proof, and I just really hope one day, and I pray one day I do get to show people the proof. But I know myself. I always said starting out, if I affect one person's life and I change one person's mind and they're not so scared when they cross over, then I did my job and I'm happy. Done.
It's the big question that I'm going to give you. Well, it's not a question; it's an answer for you. It's no one knows about it, and you're correct. No one's about it. I've been in this field quite a long time myself, and I'm still learning. One of the guys I ever learned from was, which was my favorite as I was growing up, was Ed Warren, Lynn Warren. Because they've been doing it for a long time, and everyone calls them the king and queen of the paranormal field because of the evidence they collected. And sadly, they're gone. So bless their socks, I would say, definitely to their family. But to have a knowledge of understanding it, you can understand it, and that's a good thing. And I think, you just want the same as where everyone is wanted, is just to know if it is left right, like you admitted. So that I don't want to blab on too much because I'll bore people. So the interesting is, with you now going on to further on and you're building your YouTube. So out of building YouTube, try not to worry about YouTube. I reckon you'll get that. Trust me, you're a brilliant guy. You know what you want. You're aiming for your goal. In the paranormal field, it's all for support and getting the evidence.
YouTube is very tough at the moment, especially for small creators like myself. It's very, very tough. Because it's just saturated with all these different paranormal channels and stuff like that. So it's quite hard. But I've been lucky. I always thank my American followers because they're the ones that have lifted me up, and they're fascinated with Ireland, and I appreciate that so, so much. And they're always kind of supporting me, lifting me up. And my followers, I always say I have the best followers in the world on Instagram and on YouTube and even on Facebook. Like, they're just so supportive of what I do, and they're interested in the history. And to me, I think it's an Irish thing, and I'm sure in Wales as well. Irish are not kind of known for their storytelling. Like, we love telling stories. We're the land of storytellers, poets, and artists, and musicians. And to me, it's kind of like an art in a way. I love.
It's the same.
Yeah, it's the exact same. See, Scotland and Ireland and Wales are very much alike. So like, we would have kind of the same type of histories and the same type of structures in our countries, castles and mythology. But the Welsh definitely fascinates me. I'd love to investigate Welsh. I don't know how I would manage with the names of some of the places, trying to do history on it. It would like Llanelli, and I can't even say it now, but I know.
Do you mean Connectly?
Connectly. So Drew, if you could, for my YouTube channel, be my translator, if I ever do go to Wales, I would appreciate that very much.
I got I can speak some Welsh, but the best people I'll bring in is I got a friend of mine who's a Welsh teacher. Used to be a Welsh teacher. I'll ask if she can help you personally to make sure you get the right name, because you want all the names
Uh,
pronounced nicely right.
Yeah, we have Irish obviously is a lot like Welsh, but Welsh, there's dialects and there's the way you say certain things. Like in Irish, I can handle a bit. I was taught it in school all my life. But I think with the Welsh language, there's no hope for me. No hope.
Once you get into it, it's quite easy. Me being serious, with the Wales area, we got a lot of castles like what we're talking about. And one owned by.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah, can you hear us, Kyle? You're just pointing to your headphones. Yeah, you okay? Okay, sound. So we have to do a little test of that because Kyle doesn't. So there's a castle called Pembrokeshire Castle, one of the legends of Henry VII when he was born there, and then he had to escape Pembrokeshire. And then the long word you cannot say, which no one can say, is Longora. How do you say it? No, it's long. I can't even say it. See, and I'm born and bred Welsh, but the Welsh is loving Ireland. They love Scotland as well. And again, we love the English town. Even had some history back in the days where they all did never got on, but now it's this modern year.
Yeah.
Now they all went into it together in some places.
Mm.
So, sorry about this. Nah, no corona, no corona. I suffer with an illness called, with asthma and COPD. So it's quite annoying sometimes because when I overheat or stress, which I'm not stressed, but
Yeah.
yeah, no one wants to hear that. So have you done anything funny with the paranormal field? Even you have your own experiments, you gotta done some weird stuff. Because when I prank with my team, I usually prank sometimes and have them creasing themselves laughing. Because I'm a funny chappy guy. I like to make people jump sometimes and have a laugh, have a giggle, not stand there and just say, "Hey, is there any spirits or something?" Because I think um, and I'll ask the other question, which is going to go back to when you stated like about people find it very rude. When you ask for more, it's never rude. It's never rude. You're an investigator. You're a researcher. That's what you're supposed to do. Is get more evidence. So yeah, let's go to that question I asked at the last one. Sorry about that.
Crazy paranormal things I've tried. I don't really know. I have to, like, I've done a lot of trying to get spirits to come forward and stuff like that, some weird things to get them going. But one thing, especially to do with Paranormal Adventures Ireland as well, we find laughter and things like that really bring forth the energy. Um, in Oranmore Castle, I knew I'll get back at Carlo and my team members Carlo and Giuseppe. They scared the living daylights out of me in Oranmore Castle. They were banging on a door. I didn't know they were there, and I walked out, and they were hiding, and I was sure nobody was there, and they jumped out at me, and I roared the castle down to the ground. But with the laughter of that, the energy after that picked up throughout the night, and I'm calling them out on this podcast because I'm still not over it. I wet myself just a little bit during that night. I was terrified. So this is my revenge to them. Hi, Carlo and Giuseppe.
Oh, you just got named on Paranormal Warehouse. Ha
I knew. I told them I'd get them back somehow. But
You did.
I find like what I like to do with especially Irish spirits, I like to try and talk Irish to them. A lot of them wouldn't really understand English, especially the older spirits. They would have been very old Irish. So I try to talk some Irish. I like to play traditional Irish music for them. which obviously I can't use in my video because I get copyrighted. But you know, off camera I would do that and try and bring up the energy. I use a singing bowl as well. I do some chants, Arte Marku, little things like that is kind of the strange things I do. But I do most of that kind of off camera, and then on camera I'm paranormal resident looking for the ghosts, trying to bring the energy.
You're basically trying to build that up energy with the equipment you use around you with the music. Can we ask you a very personal question? Can you speak a bit of old Irish language on here so people can hear it themselves?
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Well, Ciaran is my first name. That's Irish. It's spelled with a C. So if I said Ciaran is Adam Dum, if I said Kunasatatu, that is Ciaran is my name. How are you? I'm not very good at Irish, but I can say, can I go to the toilet? Because I used to say it in school, so I could go to the toilet and like get out of class. And we all know, every Irish kid knows how to say that, because you wouldn't be let go to the toilet if you didn't say it in Irish. So it's on Will Cadagum Duldi on Letterish, Moshe Dohele, if you please. And that was, can I go to the toilet? I'm so bad at Irish. But there's a few little like slán by put me on the spot here. I don't know. There are a few little bits. But I have in a little book that I bring with me in my backpack when I do go on my adventures, little phrases in Irish, like how many spirits is there? Ghost in Irish is puka, which translate to a ghostly fairy, and things like that. But other than that, my Irish is quite bad. Just saying.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm the same with the Welsh. Same with the Welsh.
Yeah, a lot of the American followers of mine are like, "Oh, speak Irish," and I'm like, "Oh, I should know how to," but I'm sorry, not most of us don't. We're kind of a heavily English-speaking country as well.
The best way is my son. His name is Loki, from the mythical of Loki the goddess, and his second name is Emerus, which is meaning standing in Welsh for Merlin,
That's
and it's pretty cool. I wanted to call him Emrys, then my wife, and we give the audience a choice of like making, like, what name should we go for? And everyone just went for Emrys, Loki, Emrys, Kyle, Dan, Nicholas, and that's what we went for. And it got voted by like loads of people, but it's Kyle is like family to me. So,
yeah.
But now, as I was saying like last time, okay. When we believe we're not doing too much, and you said people had a go at one point, or someone might have a go saying you're asking for too much. In the paranormal field, it's you can ask for a lot because you're trying to. I respect you, respect them, but then you're trying to get that research, that investigator. And as long as you got that bit of respect, what you have, because it's in your Irish blood, of your respectation, and you all got very taught when you were kids about being respectful. But you're never wrong to ask for too much question.
I think like with my channel especially, I get a lot of comments from a broad kind of audience, and people just kind of dropping in and out of my channel, and some of them get very offended if I use like talk about the devil or spirits or satanic things and occult things. I do a lot of history videos about it. Like recently I went to a place just close by to my home called the Devil's Toot, and I made a video about it. And you know, some people do get offended and they're like, you're messing with the wrong thing. And to me, I'm like, I will go to extreme lengths to prove there is something. Like, you know, I'm not saying I want to be possessed or anything like that, or I'm not even sure if I believe in that. But like, I don't know, like some people get very offended. Like I was in the video of the Devil's Toot, it was about making a deal with the devil. I didn't make a deal with a devil, but there was a big long story. I can tell you the story if you have time. It's up to you.
Sorry, how long does the story take? I've done it again. That bloody ghost, I tell you, gets me into trouble. Everyone, I can't believe it's like, seriously, I think my house is haunted today. Can someone come down and investigate it? Because it keeps playing with this bloody goddamn thing.
Oh man.
But how long will the story take? Because we are
only about 30 seconds. I'll do a fast one.
Oh, 30 seconds. Here we go. Irish speaking fast. I like when they speak fast.
Okay. So the whole idea of this video I did last time was about the Devil's Toot, and it's literally a big large rock. So people think when St. Patrick's came to Ireland, he got rid of the snakes. He actually came to Ireland to get rid of the devil, because the devil actually lived in Ireland in the Devil's Bit Mountain. So Devil's Bit Mountain is close to me. There's a big chunk out of the mountain. St. Patrick went up to the mountain. He wasn't fighting snakes, getting rid of snakes are a symbol for evil, like in the Garden of Eden. He was actually fighting the devil. So when the devil got angry because he was defeated, he took a bite out of this mountain. There's still a chunk missing on this mountain to this day, and he spat it out. And his toot came out with it, and where he spat out this chunk of mountain is now the Rock of Cashel, which is a big castle place. And I went to this crossroads at night, and well, it wasn't a night this time, but my subscribers want me to go at night, and they want me to see if I can make a deal with the devil. And then I said, you know, I'm up for anything. I'll try and see if I can get anything on camera for you guys at this crossroads to make a deal. And a lot of people got angry. They did get angry at me, but you know, I'm trying to provide some type of evidence, something to show people there is something.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's epic. Now,
drink after that one.
Now I'm just gonna say something very cool. If you're making a deal with the devil, then you're making a deal with the devil. You never know what you're gonna get. But the question is, if you're gonna make a deal and say you did make a deal, has anything bad happened if you did make a deal with the devil? Like, have anything been random in your life after making that possible deal?
See, no. To me, I think the whole idea that there's a little red man with a pitchfork kind of just doesn't sit right with me. I don't think you can make a deal and you can kind of force things to happen in your head that something bad's going to happen because you made a deal with devil. You'll make things bad happen to yourself. I'm not too sure about the whole thing, but I'll make a very serious deal, and I probably won't. But you know, I'm dipping my toes more into the occult side of things and the more kind of outrageous side of the paranormal, because I just think for a bigger reaction, especially on a YouTube channel, you know, I can't really sit every video and go, oh my God, guys, did you hear them footsteps or did you hear that knock? I'm trying to kind of push it a bit more now. But I will come back to you and let you know if I do have anything bad, really bad happen. Don't worry, you'll be the first to know. I'll be screaming from the rooftop.
Now, and I'm gonna say this is nothing like any personal words. If he did make a deal with the devil, and this is my I think I got a right for my opinion very quickly. If you made a deal with the devil, it would have happened by now. Personally, I think things would have went upside down, and that's what I would have done. Now, how can people find you on your channel?
Perfect. So if you search on YouTube Paranormal Resident, my face will pop up. I apologize in advance. Irish Ghost Hunter, if you search for that. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Instagram again, just search Paranormal Resident and you will find me. And you can also find my team, which is Paranormal Adventures Ireland. If you're interested in upcoming events in Ireland, search Paranormal Adventures Ireland on Facebook and Instagram, and they also have a YouTube channel, but it just we haven't really put too much work into that YouTube channel yet. But yeah, search Paranormal Resident and you will find me. You'll see the guy with the blue hair looking scared.
It's never worry about looking scared, trust me. I gotta admit, I went on a few investigations myself, and even though I'm a clairvoyant spiritualist, whatever you want to call it, I get scared sometimes because I know it's a very negative energy in a location. So If I'm aware of it, I won't let myself go with it because
Yeah.
I know where things can happen.
On my channel, I'm very real about getting scared, and sometimes it could be a cow that scares me in a field. I will let people know I'm scared. But Drew, I'd love actually if you come on an investigation with us, and I could bring you up to Left Castle. You could be on my YouTube channel. It'd be a lot of fun. And Kyle, of course, if you ever get over to Ireland, it'd be awesome. I'd love it.
One day.
One day, I'd love to have you on my YouTube channel. It would be amazing, definitely.
It'd be our pleasure. It'd definitely be amazing, mate. We'd be looking very forward to it. And I'll definitely be happy. And I'll share you on my page if you add me on Facebook.
Definitely.
We'll get you out there, buddy. I'll definitely come and do some stuff with you. And if I get scared, we're both gonna run away like with pile of poo coming out our butts. Okay.
Definitely. Oh.
Okay. It was a great pleasure. As we're coming to an end, we're done early. Wow. Okay. Kyle, have you got anything? Or have you got anything? You was gonna say something there.
Oh, actually, no, I'm very happy that you came on the show. Thank you for joining us again, and hope to have you back on again.
I really appreciate you guys having me on. It really helps my channel, and it means a lot to me that even you reached out to me. So I really, really appreciate it, and thanks so much.
Got it, buddy.
Okay, guys, we're coming to the end of this night on a Thursday night where it could get spooky in a very evening time. And this line is now coming to the dead of life. The western side of it, the Texas side of it, is coming to the end of horror. This is Coyote. And I'm Drew Nicholas.
Later.
See you later. Hee-haw!
Yeah.